Hi everyone! As I've been using my guitar for quite some time, I actually thought about making a total overview of it, since I know every detail of it in depth, especially after those 3 years of usage and after recent renovation, which I finished just like a few days ago. So, my guitar is a WI14B made by Washburn. There are quite a few similar models of it made by the same company, but the difference they have is mostly the body shape, placement of strap pins or switch, and in one specific model, the type of the bridge. As probably some of you know, this is the typical budget guitar, so for many guitar players, just like it is for me, or it was, it's the first instrument that they've bought themselves to practice. Usually the price of the guitar is around $200–300, but somehow I've bought a new one on some kind of bargain for around $150 on Guitar Center PL. Since in some points I need to refer to other guitar models, the model to which I'll be comparing to my rig is Epiphone Les Paul Junior model, which seems to be from the same price range. But as you see, it's made by a way more popular company, and I actually have this one right beside me. So let's start with some technical issues. The body of the guitar is made out of lead, and the shape of it is a mixed Les Paul and SG style. Guitar itself has extra cuts, as you may see, to make playing more comfortable. The type of wood which was used for it makes the body soft and light, which makes it perfect instrument for stage and just for hanging around with it. Your back may rest painlessly. And by light I mean that the whole guitar weighs some more than mere 3 kilos or something like that. Neck is just a regular 22 frets one, but compared to other guitar, for instance mentioned before Epiphone guitar, it's way slimmer and way more comfortable to play, even considering the fact of how fast you can move your hand across the fretboard. At the end of the neck we have 6 tuning wrenches, 3 on each side of the headstock. Bridge are solid 2-piece chunk of metal, which are easily adjustable by the screws they have, and you can easily disassemble and reassemble it after undoing the strings. Since the bridge is just a regular tune-o-matic type, there is no socket for springs of the bridge at the back of the body, since it just doesn't need them. Just above the bridge there are 2 humbuckers. Each of them has 2 rows of hex head magnetic pole pieces. This mix of pickups is said to be good for playing heavier music, and pretty much I have to agree with it. But I don't have any problems playing regular songs on clean or whatever. Since we have 2 pickups in this guitar, we also have a Freeway Switch, which in this particular model is settled at the top left corner of the guitar. At the total opposite side we have 2 volume pots and 2 tone pots, each of 500K as long as I remember. Or rather, I had 2 volume pots, since I've thrown out one, since it kinda didn't work properly, and the idea of being able to change volume for each pickup separately is pretty inconvenient in my opinion. So I've made this one a master volume pot and installed a kill switch in the empty hole. And as you see, yes, in the socket there are a hell of cables. Yeah, a hell lot of them. Those that are not black ones are added by me, since after a small replacement of the switch, the length of the wires were simply not enough, so I had to add some by myself so that they could fit the pot requirements. So if you would tell me to sum up the things I know about this guitar, advantages would be that the neck and body design. One can find it not really important, but I actually realized through the time how comfortable I can play the instrument with such shapes. Second big plus is the number of pots, which give us a good sound customization ability, and since the socket for them is pretty big, for the most of the cases while modifying your guitar you won't have to drill the wood, So you can do the same thing as I did, or for instance, instead of a kill switch, mount a treble pot. Of course, the weight of the guitar is its advantage, but sometimes, especially when jumping while performing on the stage, you may find it rather a disadvantage. Comparing to Epiphone, Les Paul bridge system is way better here, since it gives yet another time more customization scenario, which is, for example, setting your strings action low on 2mm so that you can do easy sweep picking and shredding, which on our wraparound type in this Les Paul Junior is not really possible, since it's way too thick. One of the main advantages I can clearly see in this Washburn it's noise protection. Yes, for money we can give, it's pretty good, since settling your noise gate at negative 30 dB is completely enough. When for Les Paul we have to set it around 5 dB more. If you find it not meeting your requirements, you can make yourself a paneling inside the pot sockets with use of aluminium foil, for instance, instead of using it to pack up your sandwiches. Yeah, it should improve it. The physics says so. And last but not least, tuning wrenches maintain a tune for several hours of non-stop playing if you apply the strings correctly. Yes, that's true, but remember one small thing, that actually after you place the strings at the wrenches, you have to tune it like several times so that they are completely setting still at their place. And as it comes to disadvantages, wood for the body is a little too soft, it rather gets easily bothered, although after 3 years I had only few noticeable bruises, let's say. In addition, the surface of the wood in some places, especially in the pockets, is corrupted or badly done, as you can see at the photo of my pot sockets. And not in my guitar only there are such problems, it seems. Sometimes tuning wrenches and upper part of the bridge tends to emit strange shivering metallic noise while playing, but it can be easily neutralized with reapplying or just tightening all the screws on both of them. Electric in this guitar might be a little faulty, since some pots may not be working 100%, just like my volume one, or just some tattered wires may cause circuits sometimes, but it's not really a big deal if you know the basic laws of electricity devices and you're able to do things by yourself. Strap pins are rather too small to properly maintain safety, since it usually fell out from place, and in this particular point I can admit that Epiphone wins. And why? Because it is as hard to get the strap in place as hard to get it out of there. Seriously. And as a final one, I can say that the placement of the switch made my renovation process a complete hell. And with the way it was mounted at the beginning, I mean you change pickup settings by clicking it down or up, leads sometimes to unwanted changes during playing if you don't watch your right hand carefully. But it was some kind of repair in the Washburn WI14 model. Oh, and I've nearly forgotten about one thing. Since the pickups are open, they seem to get relatively fast dust layers in the humbucker chambers if not covered. Yeah. If you're the one who wants to start the fun with guitars and you actually understood all I've said, you're probably wondering whenever even consider having this one in mind while buying. All I can say is that when I was holding a Dean guitar for around $4,000, I still preferred gripping my Caroline. Yeah, true. And remember one thing. it's pretty normal for guitars of that price range that they need our care before they are taken for heavy jamming sessions, since manufacturing process for that price it's not even close to being perfect. Now I shall disappear. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.